Let's talk a bit more about observable object. When your custom reference type model conforms to observable object, it provides a mechanism to bind an entire object and its properties to a view. It's ideal for data that you control and for external models that need to be passed into a hierarchy. The only requirement of observable object is the object will change property. Object will change tells SwiftUI when to trigger a re-render of a view that depends on your custom model. The good news is you don't have to implement that property yourself. If you want to re-render views when a property value changes, all you have to do is annotate that property with the @published attribute. This will cause a notification to be sent to any views subscribed to the data model reference type whenever their values change, triggering a re-render as a result. This bit of SwiftUI magic uses the Combine framework behind the scenes. Combine is a framework for managing data flow inside of your app, but it's out of the scope of this course. If you're interested, check out the author's notes for some links to resources about Combine. Once your model is an observable object with published properties, how do you add it as a dependency on a view? Instead of using the @state or @binding attributes, use @observedObject. That will tell SwiftUI that the data is an external reference type and that it should subscribe for changes in the model that can be published at any time. You're back in the project. You're going to be making some changes to the user view. Right now, user view sets a username and a favorite genre using @state. You can try that out in a live preview. I'll be Luna, and my favorite genre is horror. But if you want to be able to pass these super important values elsewhere in the app, you need to do a little work. You're going to set up a user store class that keeps track of the current user's data. So open up userstore.swift. We've already got a struct set up that represents a user called userinfo. Now we'll make a class to store an instance of this user information. It'll conform to observable object. That will turn it into something that can be observed by SwiftUI. And to do that, we'll need to import Combine. The last step is to add a property for the user info. But a regular old property won't do here, so I've got another property wrapper for you. Published. @published is what triggers an update in observers of an observable object. When a published property changes, observers are notified. By declaring current user info with the @published property wrapper, setting a new value will update any views observing the user store. Okay, we've got an observable object, but you still need to do the observing. There are 3 places you could use this, in fact, but let's start in Movie List. Add an observed object user store up at the top and just make a new one. With that, you can add the user's name up by the little profile icon. Now you really also want this in user view, so go ahead and pass it in now. Then jump over to user view and add a property so you can pass the object in. You're using the same property wrapper this time. With that user store available, you can actually grab the current user data and fill these values in when their user view appears. You can also uncomment these lines in the update user info method, and that will update the store based on the values you set for name and favorite genre. You'll need to pass a user store into the preview now to keep it working. Go back to Movie List and try a live preview. Update your user data, hit the update button, and see it show up in Movie List. The other place you could use the user store is in the Add Movie view to skip our user's favorite genre in the picker. But then you're passing this object around 2 different views. There might be a better option. Before that, though, let's go to a challenge.